Hi Andy, how are you?
Hi James, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Very well indeed. Hey, look, thanks very much for taking the time to talk to me today a little bit about our partnership, the partnership between GlobalSign and Impression Signatures. Maybe you could start by telling me a little bit more about Impression's platform.
Sure. So Impression was founded in 2011 and we help our customers focus on digitizing their paper-based processes. Impression is essentially an e-signature platform. So we help customers remove all the paper out of their sort of legacy processes. So whether it's generating the documents, getting the documents completed, we go out to various trusted sources to get the information embedded into the document so that a customer need not actually type out the information that goes into the application form, through to actually getting the document signed, the workflow around that, and eventually getting the transaction fulfilled. Because at the end of the day, that's what signing the document is all about. It's about completing an agreement, a transaction. So we call that the Impression Agree module, and it's part of a larger platform that has four modules. Agree being one of them. We have an Engage module, which essentially exposes all of that functionality through to different channels so that you can complete an agreement through WhatsApp, for example. Or in South Africa, we have a medium called USSD, which allows you to push messages to phones so that people can sign documents with a USSD message. Very popular from an African perspective because those phones need not be smartphones. So USSD works over the GSM network, which means if you're able to receive a call, you're able to receive this message and we can push it through to your phone. So it's a very popular channel. So we call that that web, that smartphone app, the WhatsApp, the USSD, we call that our Engage module, which allows customers to engage with us across those different channels. And then the new module, which is the one that actually we're going to talk quite a bit about today, is the Trust module. The Trust module deals with advanced electronic signatures and the embedded identity, the digital identity and the trust that goes into those transactions. Finally, our fourth module, which basically looks over all the other modules in the platform, is called Manage, and it essentially lets us get the analytics out of that process, how people are completing the agreements, where they're getting stuck in the process, how people are paging through the different pages of the documents, so that we can really hone in on the areas of friction in people's business processes, give them that analytics so that they can make that process better. It's a complete digital transformation platform.
Yeah, I mean that's a really great story. Yeah, really really nice platform. We've worked together for a few years now. I think 2.5 or so years. Can you tell me a little bit about the journey that Impression have taken in partnership with Global Sign?
So we met quite a while ago, didn't we, James? On I think it was the 1st of February 2018. You and I met up in London. We were at the Hilton Hotel in London. You guys had come through from the office, and I was on a business trip in the UK. And we met up in London to discuss what a partnership would look like with GlobalSign. What started out as a tactical discussion about how we solve for a particular customer of mine at the time. It was a financial services customer that needed certificates for signing their documents. It eventually turned into a strategic conversation about what would eventually become the Impression Trust module. And almost 2.5 years later, we eventually got accredited. Partnering with GlobalSign as our certificate authority, Impression became a Web Trust accredited registration authority. And so our application to the South African Accreditation Authority has gone in so that we can provide advanced electronic signatures as part of our Impression offering. We now refer to that as our Trust module. And so customers who buy our Agree or our Engage module can now also add the Trust module to give their signatures and the transactions that they complete an Impression that extra level of assurance.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I remember that first meeting very well. Yeah, I mean, we've come a long way since then. Could you maybe tell me a little bit more about advanced electronic signatures in the context of South Africa?
From a South African perspective, we had the ECT Act, which defines under the Act what an advanced electronic signature is. There's certain things that you have to comply with. And so, we worked together as partners to figure out what we needed to do to become compliant for advanced electronic signatures. And both yourself and your team have been great at helping me get through that.
Okay, great. So you guys essentially have applied for an additional accreditation that works in parallel with the existing certification that GlobalSign can offer you. Andy, tell me, why did you decide to team up with GlobalSign? Can you give me perhaps an example of how our partnership has enabled Impression to develop a particular line of business?
I think one of the key reasons why we wanted to pursue this path and create the Impression Trust module, which was the AES accredited advanced electronic signature, there were many use cases that we just simply couldn't touch, which require that extra level of identity verification and consent. Specifically in our case, we had a customer in healthcare. It was a hospital group who were looking to go completely paperless in their hospitals. Now, being healthcare and being highly regulated, electronic prescriptions, have special clauses in the related legislation that call for the scripts to be signed with a handwritten signature. And as of recently, they've added a clause in there that they can be signed with an advanced electronic signature. Now, the reason why that's so important, I think, is evident because, people's lives are on the line when it comes to prescriptions. I mean, if you get that wrong, if there's fraud involved, if there's a medicine that is misdispensed or incorrectly dispensed, that can cause a lot of problems and people's lives are at stake, which calls for the higher level of identity verification and the higher level of trust, which simply you could not get from an ordinary electronic signature. And so it was with this healthcare customer that we decided to pursue our journey to become accredited for advanced electronic signatures, which led me to GlobalSign to talking about how we might achieve this. We subsequently were able to roll out electronic prescribing to this hospital group, which were able to remove all the paper from their hospitals, allowing a much more seamless digitized process for issuing medicines. There's this concept of closed loop medication, which follows a medication's path from the point that the doctor has prescribed it all the way through to the pharmacy to get it dispensed, to when the nurse picks it up and takes it through to the ward, when it gets stored in the ward and eventually gets administered to the patient and is making its way into their vein. They are able to digitally track this medicine. And I think just in terms of the quality of care and the traceability that provides it's priceless, really. And they were able to achieve this largely because they could sign their scripts electronically thanks to an advanced electronic signature.
Oh, well, yeah, that's really great to hear. Particularly in these times, having that remote ability is a real tactical advantage for a healthcare provider. What sort of tangible benefit is this customer and their patients now noticing now that you've implemented this new system?
It's amazing how having removed that little piece of paper from their process, how their entire value chain has been transformed. So I'll give you an example, right? Telemedicine. So now that the doctor and patient don't necessarily have to be in the same room to get that prescription to go get the medicine filled, you can now let the doctor consultation happen over video conference. And so the patient can share with the doctor their symptoms and what they're feeling. And if it's something trivial and requires certain medication, the doctor can prescribe. And in the old days, it would have to be that signature on a piece of paper. But with e-scripting, he can now give a digital version of that script to the patient. But it goes a little step further by saying, well, why deliver the script to the patient so that he can go get his medicine filled? Why not deliver it straight to the pharmacy of the patient's choice, so that he can just collect the medicine? And then it goes a step further to say, well, if he's really sick, why go stand in a queue to go get the medicine collected when the pharmacist can just have the medicine delivered straight to the patient? And so now we have this patient customer experience where he never need leave his home so that he can get his medicine. He can actually get better from the comfort of his home. And I don't think it's just about comfort, it's also about keeping other people safe. So if that patient, for example, is a COVID-19 patient who does need some medication, they need not leave their isolation to get it. And so just removing that piece of paper has completely opened up this value chain to do really exciting, special things, both for the patients and for the pharmacists and for the doctor.
Right, that's really comprehensive. Has it been difficult, I suppose, for the customer to integrate everything to get to where they are now?
The way that we've built the solution allows the capability for advanced electronic signatures to be added into the customer's existing process, rather than forcing the customer and their end customers to come into our process. And I think that's quite important, because at the end of the day, electronic signatures are only a capability that we're providing. It's not an end-to-end solution. The customer couldn't really be bothered about which e-signature solution they're getting, as long as it works. It must enable the process. And so the way that we've built Impression and the product allows it to be consumed via API. So really, from an end customer's perspective, they don't even know they're dealing with Impression or GlobalSign. They're dealing with the particular hospital, or they're dealing with a particular bank, and they're always within that process. There's no registration of that end customer with us that needs to happen, and we provide that capability to organizations so that they can own their entire process. They can own their customer experience, they can brand it the way that they want to brand it, control the messaging, and really craft a slick digital experience for their end customers. And I think that's important. It's one of our key differentiators from our competitors.
Yeah, that's an amazing success story. It's really, really good to hear that our collaborative partnership has allowed effectively a brand new solution offering to be brought to the market in South Africa. And I think that's very much the epitome of the power of a partnership, where both sides come together to create a complete end-to-end solution that really fits a massive need within the market.
The implementation of advanced electronic signatures in itself has been a journey for our organization. But what I think is a real benefit is the way that we've worked with GlobalSign to package it. Everything from the commercials and contracting through to the technical implementation of consuming the APIs has just been made so slick. Really, a customer can suck this capability of advanced electronic signatures into their process probably within a matter of weeks, rather than months to years, which is what it used to take to bring this compliance into a solution. So we've really done a really good job of making that whole process of consuming the service slick and easy for customers. I think with the scale that we've got backed by GlobalSign is we can offer the solution at a very competitive price. And again, it gives us that edge over our competitors, having that global scale, having that global trust at a price that's affordable.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. Do you think maybe just as I suppose a final point, you could maybe summarize how you feel about the relationship between Impression and GlobalSign, and I suppose what you're looking forward to in the future?
Sure. Now, the support that we've received from GlobalSign has been fantastic. I've had several meetings with executive members of GlobalSign itself. I've met with the legal and compliance team, the team responsible for the overall compliance with WebTrust as well. Worked very closely with me to really understand what it was that we needed to do for our advanced electronic signature accreditation. In terms of our partnership with GlobalSign, I think we have a real competitive edge when it comes to some of the players in the market, largely because GlobalSign is such a big player. It's involved with the CAB forum. It's always compliant with web trust. It's keeping up to date with the EIDAS rules. And it's something that we as a registration authority can leverage.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, we look forward to being on that journey with you and helping you, supporting you wherever we can.
Well, I think in summary, James, I just want to say it's a project that I'm really, really proud of. And I'm so grateful to GlobalSign for the assistance that they've given us over the years. I think it's been a great partnership. I've received just such outstanding support, both commercially, during the contracting stage, during the design phase, technical work that we've had to get done. And it's been a key element to actually getting this project delivered. And it's such a great project, I think, that delivers true digital transformation. It goes beyond just e-signatures and a product and selling certificates. Bringing this solution together, I think, is actually going to change people's lives. It's going to keep both the doctors and the patients safe. It's going to deliver an outstanding customer-patient experience. And it's really brought some much needed change to the way that we do things in South Africa. It's going to certainly drive the adoption of advanced electronic signatures to the level where I think they've needed to be for the last 10 years. And really, I can't wait for the next project with GlobalSign and to deliver another truly transformational project.
Thanks very much for taking the time, Andy. It's really good to speak to you, and we'll speak again soon.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you, James, and thank you again for the opportunity. Go well.
Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye now.